Hey, I wanted to do a quick little mini episode just to catch up from Clash at the Castle, talk about the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre match, which went pretty much exactly how we discussed. Drew McIntyre came out to a gigantic pop. I mean, like, what a gigantic superstar he came out as, despite the fact that he's acted like a huge monster for, like, months on end. All is forgiven when you go home. Although, I gotta say, when I go home to where I grew up, I don't feel like that at all. Not even a little bit. But that's beside the point. So yeah, he goes home. He gets to be a big hero. Damian Priest comes out. He's made into a monster. He just comes off like a complete demon, which he is thrilled by. You can tell like he's just absolutely loving it. And then they have their match. And the way they played the match, they really let the two of them just be complete badasses. Like, it was a really tough ass match. They both looked phenomenal. They came off like two tough guys who both deserved a title. Like, they really sold just how tough and incredible the two of them are. One of the things that I thought they did a really great job at, there was a point where Damian Priest got his leg jammed up in the ropes, and it's not clear if that was on purpose or an accident, but it looked gnarly as hell, and it sure as hell looked like an accident, because it took both the ref and Drew working together to get him unhooked. But then he sold it the way he sold it the whole rest of the match. Like, I sure felt like he was selling it as a fake injury, but it made him look just like $1 million, like super tough, so that when the end of the match came, even though he got the win through nefarious means, he still comes off like a badass who deserves the title, which is really important, because at the end of the day, like, we're talking about such a conflicted way to walk away from this. The ending, of course, if you haven't seen it, is pretty much exactly what we talked about in the video. There's a ref bump. Drew hits his finisher. He has Damian pinned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another ref hits the ring, and who is that ref? CM Punk. CM Punk refuses to count to 3, and then he hits a low blow on Drew and gets out of the ring just as the ref comes in. Damian Priest hits his finisher and pins Drew. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest retains. Drew loses and goes effing insane. It's a really great way to leave things. What's cool about it is now the title belt is removed from the story of Drew and CM Punk, so they can have a feud without having this weight of the belt on top of it, and more importantly, without being a drag on the belt. So now you have the belt, which can be freely moved, and the belt gets to stay with Damian Priest, who really needs that belt. That belt is doing a lot for Damian Priest. It's actually giving him status, and it's giving him, story opportunities, because he needs them, and he deserves to be put at the top of the card, which is where he is. And Drew doesn't need that, right? Drew's already been a world champion multiple times. He's going to be in the middle of what is going to be the biggest feud of the summer with CM Punk. But what I find crazy is that, like, CM Punk has now been a total asshole to Drew twice, and yet is still going to be the hero of the situation. Like, he still comes off like he's the good guy, even though, like, what he has done is just unspeakably awful. Like, what a shitty thing to do. Like, he just, like, cheated and acted like a total piece of shit in the guy's hometown. He robbed him of the title for the second time, and yet, and even though the crowd, I will say the crowd there totally hated him, which is delightful, and there was a press conference they did afterwards where you could tell even the reporters were not particularly amused, which is funny to see. That, like, the reporters were still buying into the fiction. It's always sort of interesting to watch. But it's going to be interesting to see how they react, because Drew's going to tell the truth, like he always does, which is that CM Punk is acting like an asshole, which is sort of like the rub against CM Punk, is that he's always acted like a selfish asshole, which is what he did in the story. So, what does that do for Drew in terms of him being a heel when he's telling the truth and being right? I think it's going to be really compelling, and I think it's going to continue to make for some just spectacular TV that I highly recommend checking out when it happens. Although I guess they said that CM Punk will not be on Raw on Monday, but who knows what's going to happen. We'll see then. I might be back to do some Collision live commentary, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm still trying to figure out how to make the computer do all the computery stuff. And then I'll be back next week with a new full video edited and put together, and we'll see you then. Bye.